Om Sri Saram. Good morning, each and everyone. Saram to one and all. Today we are discussing on about source of Indian story. Already in the last class we have discussed on about returnable sources of Indian story. Today we have moved for non-returnable sources of Indian story. One of the very important non-returnable sources known as inscription. Inscription are the most valuable, reliable, authentic, and direct sources writing story. The inscriptions are engraved on stone, rock, walls, terracotta, and iron pillar. Some of them are on copper plate. More than 75,000 inscriptions have been found in India. They are written in various languages like Sanskrit, Pali, Prakrit, Telugu, Tamil, Kannada, and etc. They contain details regarding events, sale days, decree, donation, chronology, victories of king. Totally, the study of inscription is called as epigraphy. So, totally, inscriptions are permanent writing. The study of inscription called epigraphy, the earliest inscriptions were written on stone. They usually record the achievement, activities, and ideas of those who get them inscribed. So we get inscription which glorify the exploit of kings and mention donation made by men and women for religious purpose. Those inscriptions which are composed by poets in praise of the king and patron are known as prashasti. Some inscriptions carry dates and chronology also. The earliest inscriptions were in Prakrit, a name for a language used by ordinary people. In later times, Tamil, Sanskrit were also used to write inscription. The Mauryan king Ashoka was the first person to issue inscription. Most of his inscriptions are in Prakrit language, written in the Brahmi script, though some in the northwest were written in Kharosthi. The Aramaic and Greek script were used for inscription in Afghanistan, so that the local people could understand their subject matter. The Brahmi script was first deciphered in 1837 by James Prinsep, who was a civil servant during the British rule. Brahmi was written from left to right like Hindi, while Kharosthi from right to left. Ashokan inscription helped us greatly in understanding his religious and administrative policies. From the 1st century BC, the kings started granting land to religious people. The Shatavahanas, king of the Deccan, were the first one to do so. This inscription record the concessions granted to Dhoni. The other inscriptions are Hattikumpa cave inscriptions of King Karavela of Orissa. Gives detail regarding the expeditions of Karavela. The Allahabad pillar inscription composed by Arisena gives details regarding the achievements of Samudragupta. Aivale inscription composed by Ravikirti and Almadi inscription of Kakustavarma have their own importance in the history of Karnataka. Such inscription help us in finding out the religious and economic activities of the period. Some of these inscriptions are written on stone, but most on copper plates. The copper plate charters were probably given as a record of the transaction to those who received the land and were granted concession. However, there are some limitations of inscriptional evidence. For example, sometimes letters are very faintly engraved, and thus reconstructions are uncertain. Also, inscriptions may be damaged or letters missing. One more very important unreturnable source is known as coins. The study of coins is known as numismatic. It not only includes visual elements such as script and images on the coins, but also metallurgical analysis. Ancient coins were mostly minted in metals such as copper, silver, gold, and lead. The earliest coins found in India contained certain symbols and were called punch mark coins. They were made of silver and copper. The first coins to bear the names and images of rulers were issued by the Indo-Greeks, who established control over the northwestern parts of subcontinent. The first gold coin were issued by Kushanas in 1st century AD. Some of the most spectacular gold coins were issued by the Gupta rulers. The earliest issues are remarkable for their purity of gold content. Totally, coins provide useful information regarding economic history as they were used as a medium of exchange. Some coins were issued by guild or associations of the merchants and craftsmen with the permission of the rulers. This shows the influence of crafts and commerce. Coins also portray king and gods and contain religious symbol, also which throw light on the art and religion of the time. Totally, coin helps us to understand the period, dynasty, economic condition, religion, language, etc. They also give information regarding metallurgy, artistic abilities, title, trade relations, and etc. The coin of Gupta, Shatavahana, Yadavas, Vijayanagara, etc. The different names of the coin known as Kaso, Karshapana, Dhamma, these are all the different names of coin during the period of ancient. And availability of coins of one country in other country tells about the commercial relations between them. Next, one more very important unreturnable sources known as archaeology. Archaeological sources are the remains of past human life and activities. It includes the human relics and artifacts from the earliest stone tools to the man-made object found in the excavation. The important archaeological sources are seal, remains of building, pottery, household articles, terracotta figurine, fossil, painting, etc. Archaeology is the material remains of the past, can be studied with the help of the archaeology. Archaeology is a science that enables us to systematically dig the successive layers of old mounds and to form an idea of the material life of the people, past and the wishes of the remains found there. Totally, it is a scientific digging of earth for unearthing sources. So, archaeology is very important to study prehistory, the period between or period before the invention of writing. History is basically based on written material. Although writing was known in India by 2500 BC, in the Indus culture, its script had not so far been disappeared. Thus, though the Harappan knew how to write, but the historians have not been able to read it. Their culture is placed in the period called proto-historic phase. The prehistory of India is written with the help of excavations only. Excavations are the sole sources of Indus Valley civilization. The excavation conducted at Chandragiri, Tirunelveli, Madurai, Archimedo, and other places give us information regarding Stone Age. The excavated site belonging to the Harappan period shows the layout of this settlement and the form of the houses in which people live, the type of pottery, tools, and implement they use, and the kind of cereals they consume. In South India, some people were buried along with their tools, weapons, pottery, and other belongings under big and heavy stones. These graves are known as megaliths. By digging them, we learn about the life of people who lived in the Deccan and South India before the 3rd century BC. The dates of remain found in excavations are fixed by various methods. The most important of them is the radiocarbon or carbon 14 dating method. Carbon 14 is a radioactive carbon present in all living objects. It decays like all radioactive substances at a uniform rate when the object is dead by measuring the loss of carbon 14 content in an ancient object. Its age can be determined. Totally, the archaeological remains found during excavations are put into scientific test by carbon 14 and potassium method to ascertain the age of the remains. The history of climate and vegetation is known through an examination of plant residue and especially through pollen analysis. On this basis, it is suggested that agriculture was practiced in Kashmir and Rajasthan around 7000 to 6000 BC. The nature and components of metal artifacts can also be analyzed scientifically, and consequently the mines from which metals were obtained are located and stages in the development of metal technology identified. The geological studies provide an idea of the history of soil, rocks, etc., where prehistoric man lived. One of the best example, the Mehrauli iron pillar discovered near Delhi, is an outstanding example of their metallurgical skill. It is a miracle that even after being exposed to sun and rain for centuries, the iron pillar has not rusted or lost its strength. Totally, human story cannot be understood without an idea of the continuing interaction between soils, plants, and animals on one hand and humans on the other, taken together with archaeological remains, geological and biological studies, act as important sources for the reconstruction of and development of human story. So, totally, these are all the different unreturnable sources of studied about the Indian story. Thank you. Saram to Anandal. Jai Saram. Today, end of the class.